Stabbing in Paris police station leaves 4 officers dead. Party leaders go toe-to-toe during French debate.
Moi, je suis pour le droit d'avortement. Je suis pour le mariage.
With new captain John Tavares, the Leafs took on the Senators in home opener. Humber News starts now. Hello, I'm Ashley Radcliffe coming to you from our newsroom at Humber's North Campus. It's Thursday, October 3rd. Here's what's making the news this hour. The major party leaders are locking horns in Montreal. The party leaders have been tirelessly campaigning over the past month. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh was excited with the French debate's outcome. This is the first debate of the campaign in which Liberal Justin Trudeau took part. Jagmeet Singh urged Canadians to think for themselves.
They don't have to settle for less. You know, Mr. Trudeau is going to scare people into settling for less. I don't think they have to.
Trudeau emerged from the debate largely unscathed despite his previous scandals. He says the federal government should protect their people.
The federal government is always to be unequivocally there to defend people who need their rights defended, and that's what we will continue to do.
Conservative leader Andrew Scheer said that the debates that he is pro-life. A developing story in Paris this morning. A police administrative worker went on a knife rampage inside headquarters building in Paris this morning. The suspect killed 4 officers before being shot to death by another officer. Police headquarters was sealed off and the nearest metro station was shut down as the attack occurred around Notre Dame Cathedral. The motive behind the attack is not clear at this time. High winds and mass flooding leaving homeowners in Portugal with no power. It's hurricane season and Lorenzo is making moves. Big waves are crashing down on the streets of Portugal, leaving the roads flooded. The season began on June 1st and is expected to end on November 30th. Lorenzo is the 5th hurricane in this year to start out as a tropical storm and then develop into a hurricane. The hurricane has left several people with no power. High winds are knocking down trees and causing homeowners to take precautions like boarding up their windows. Lorenzo briefly reached Category 5 and has dropped down to a Category 1. The hurricane continues moving north while making its way towards the UK. A deadly typhoon has struck South Korea, leaving 9 people dead and 5 missing. Typhoon Mitag has flooded South Korea due to heavy rain and high winds, causing thousands to be left with no power. The Interior Ministry said 9 people are dead and 6 people were buried by landslides, while 7 others were injured in typhoon-related incidents. A ministry report said the storm knocked out power to 48,670 homes. Several homes and other buildings have been destroyed due to excessive flooding. The Interior Ministry expects the toll in deaths and missing people to increase as officials continue searching through landslides and debris. More violence has broken out across Iraq as protesters clash with government forces. Anti-government protests have erupted across Iraq as the death toll rises after 3 days of protests. 20 people have died and more than 200 have been injured as conflicts between the government and protesters have escalated in violence. Cities like Nasiriyah have seen gunfights emerge between protesters and security forces. In response, counterterrorism units have been deployed in certain Iraqi cities. Iraqi Prime Minister Abdul Abdi declared a curfew in response to the violence. Protests began on October 1st over issues like unemployment, poor public service, and corruption. U.S. President Donald Trump said he believes that China and Ukraine should investigate Joe Biden in a press conference this morning.
China should start an investigation into the Bidens, because what happened in China is just about as bad as what happened with Ukraine.
Trump addressed reporters in Washington, D.C. this morning, doubling down on his claims against Biden. Trump's previous request to Ukrainian President Zelensky sparked investigations into the president on the grounds of impeachment. The impeachment inquiry has caused the president to lash out at reporters.
Don't be rude.
No, sir, I don't want to be rude. I just wanted you to have a chance to answer the question that I asked you.
I've answered everything. It's a whole hoax. And you know who's playing into the hoax? People like you and the fake news media that we have in this country. So this morning,
Trump said that he would be bringing litigation against the corrupt investigation.
listen to this one, President. I probably will be bringing a lot of litigation against a lot of people having to do with the corrupt investigation, having to do with the 2016 election.
For example.
And I have every right to do that.
As he does, Trump has taken to Twitter to vent his frustrations with the impeachment inquiry. We all deserve to have an education that's free of barriers, but unfortunately, that's not the case for many students with disabilities. The Ontario Human Rights Commission has launched a public inquiry to help children with disabilities learn to read.
Over 20 years, the Ontario Human Rights Commission has promoted the right to education for students with disabilities. The Commission has developed policies and cases and been involved in cases at the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario and the Supreme Court of Canada. Yet, we continue to hear from parents, students, and educators that the needs of students with disabilities are not being met in Ontario public schools.
In a conference, the Chief Commissioner of the Ontario Human Rights Commission, Renew Mundane, says there is still work to be done on making sure that students with disabilities are getting the help they need when it comes to their education. The majority of disabled students who are affected are third-grade students, with 53% of those with reading disabilities are falling short of provincial standards. Alicia Smith, who suffers from dyslexia herself, shares the troubles that her son faces with his disabilities.
Idiot. Sometimes I wished I would just die so I could stop feeling so stupid. I remember the teacher handing out tons of worksheets covered in words I couldn't read. I would sit and stare out the window, trying to be very quiet, hoping that she would just forget I existed. That's the opening of a letter that my 10-year-old son wrote to our MPP about his experience with dyslexia.
If these issues are addressed earlier on, lifelong consequences such as an increase in high school dropouts, experiencing mental health disabilities, getting involved in the criminal justice system, and homelessness will be low. Education is the key to success, and the goal is to make sure that everyone, regardless of whether they have a disability or not, is able to get the good education that they need in order to achieve success in their future. University of Toronto professor Peter Wittek is missing after an avalanche struck during a climbing trip in India. The 37-year-old quantum computing assistant was accompanied by a group of 5 others. The group's goal was to hike Mount Trezell in the Himalayas. Wittek was resting in his tent Sunday when the avalanche hit. One other member of the group was also hit by the avalanche but managed to dig out from the snow. Toronto police say a man is dead after a stabbing in the city's financial district late Wednesday night. Cops arrived in the area of King and University after receiving tips of a group of people fighting. A man in his 50s was located on scene with stab wounds and was rushed to the hospital. He was later pronounced dead. Duty Inspector Darren Aldrich said officers canvassed the area and arrested a suspect. They are still looking for a person of interest, and anyone with information is asked to contact police. Former City of Vaughan Mayor Michael DiBiase is being probed about municipal corruptions during his time at Vaughan City Hall. The investigation by the OPP's Economic Crime and Corruption Squad began in April 2015 following a referral to police by the city's Integrity Commissioner and a complaint by local Vaughan activists and political rival Richard Lorello. It's alleged that DiBiase illicitly accepted an advantage or benefit from one of the city's biggest contractors, Maystar General Contractors, to build his family cottage in Barrie back in 2013. DiBiase has previously denied accepting any benefits or advantages in the construction of his family cottage, saying he did not get any help at all from any firms that he dealt with in his many years at Vaughan City Hall. An OPP spokesperson said the force's probe into DiBiase is ongoing. Nothing lasts forever, and that's the case for Forever 21, as all stores across Canada and the U.S. are closing down. In fashion, one day you're in, the next day you're out. Forever 21, known for its massive stores and $5 shirts, is filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The once hot destination for teenagers is closing down all 44 stores across Canada. The fast fashion retailer says customers continue to shop online as stores many shoppers are upset about it.
From Forever 21.
Bargain hunters are raiding the stores as they empty the racks and finding their $7 deals.
And it's pretty much the same as H&M, so we're not missing much.
The end of affordable textiles comes as no shock for young shoppers as they lean towards sustainable outfits.
I used to a long time ago. However, because they get their clothes from unethical sources, and it's not the highest material possible, I feel like that's part of their demise.
The retailer currently employs 2,000 people across all locations in Canada, and it looks like Forever 21 is not forever anymore. Humber Gallery showcases photography. The LRC exhibit is a collaboration between graduate students and faculty. More pop-up art spaces will be open through the college. Our reporter Raymond Brooks was there with the story.
As students come through the main entrance of Humber College, their eyes tend to drift slowly to the right, to an exhibit of exceptional photography. The Humber Gallery's photography exhibition draws the attention of students, staff, and especially Starbucks coffeegoers.
It's absolutely captivating. It caught my eye as soon as I walked by.
Most of the photographs on display showcase the work of graduate students. Having the opportunity to see their work displayed in an exhibit on campus is a boost of confidence and good for their careers.
So the gallery space will be encircled by large prints, and then the students have their portfolio books on display so that industry people can come and check out the creative ideas and all the work.
It feels really good to see your work on the wall. Well, not in the real gallery, but yeah, it surely feels good to have at least start from somewhere.
Pancho's work is being showcased in one of the new pop-up art spaces at the North Campus. This display is more than a space for people to chill out after class or spend time in between. It's a place for everyone to learn and experience art from many different cultures, perspectives, and styles.
That was sort of an interesting way for us to kick off a new initiative that we're doing with Humber Galleries, which is showcasing student artwork all over both campuses. And what we're trying to do is use the campuses as our canvas to showcase the diversity and range of artwork that can be produced by Humber students.
None of which would be possible without the work of its faculty.
There's so much visual content that is being sought after by different outlets, whether it be galleries, whether it be online. When creative souls get together, they can produce some pretty interesting projects. So just keep doing it and, communicate whatever you're thinking.
Pictures are worth 1,000 words, but these 50 photos could be worth even more. Raymond Brooks, Humber News.
We are going to take a quick break. Still ahead, the latest in sports. But first, Paige McGowan has a preview of your 3-day forecast.
Now that we've officially entered October, it's time to say goodbye to warm summer weather and say hello to fall. Get those sweaters out of the back of your closet and get ready to embrace cooler temperatures. I'll have your 3-day weather forecast after the break. Stay warm, everyone.